Hello students. Students, today we will be discussing one chapter under your third term syllabus, and the chapter is chapter 10, movement in animals. So we will be discussing one topic that is on page number 111, and the topic is movement in other animals. So here first of all is written that many animals do not have a skeleton, as many living organisms are not having a skeleton. So based on the presence or absence of the backbone or vertebral column, animals are broadly classified into two groups. So on the basis of whether a vertebral or vertebral column or a backbone is present or absent, animals are broadly classified into two groups, that is vertebrates and the other one is invertebrates. So vertebrates are animals with a backbone, and obviously the invertebrates would be the one which do not have a backbone. So some of the invertebrates have a hard covering or shell that gives the body support or protection. So some of the invertebrates, they are having a hard covering or a shell that is protecting their body or supporting it. This protective covering that is outside of the body is called the exoskeleton, and that outer covering protective coating is called as exoskeleton. Snails, crabs, lobsters and insects like the cockroach and grasshopper have exoskeleton. So all these animals are having exoskeleton. The skeleton that is inside the body of other animals like fish, birds and humans is called the endoskeleton, and those skeleton that is inside the body like in the animals like fish, birds and humans is called the endoskeleton. Now we'll briefly know about earthworm, snail, cockroach, fish, birds, etc. So the earthworm has a body that is divided into segments. The earthworm is having a body that is having segments like this. In this figure we can see segments means portion, numerous portions are there present in its body, and these are called as segments. Body that is divided into segments, and it has no skeleton. It is having no skeleton. It has an internal cavity that is filled with liquid, and it is having an internal cavity which is filled with liquid. The muscles of the earthworm are arranged around this cavity, and around this cavity the muscles which are present in the earthworm are arranged. There are two sets of muscles that acts perpendicular to each other. Now in the earthworm's body there are two sets of muscles that is acting perpendicular to each other. When one set of muscle contracts, the other set relaxes. Here with this figure we can understand that when one portion is contracting, the other portion is relaxing, and through this way the earthworm moves forward. The earthworm also has stiff hair-like projections called setae to grip the ground, and they are having certain hair-like projections in their surface of the body which is called as setae, and which is helping them to grip the ground so that the body can move forward by regular contractions and expansions of the muscles, and by that process they can move forward by regular contractions and as well as regular expansions of the muscles. Now the next portion is snail. The soft body of a snail is protected by a hard coiled shell. Snail is having a very soft body, and for that that snail is needing one protection, and that is provided by a hard coiled shell, and that is called as exoskeleton. The snail moves by creeping on a flat foot. It creeps on the ground, and it underneath the body snail moves flat foot. They are having flat foots which is underneath their body, and which and with the help of that they creeps on the ground. The band of muscles in the foot contract and expand to create a rippling movement, and these band of muscles they continuously contract and expand, which is creating a rippling body movement in their body that pushes the snail forward, and it is helping the snail to move forward in its direction. The foot also secretes slimy mucus, and the snail is excreting a slimy mucus to make a slippery track, which is making a slippery track over which the snail moves, and it uh, it secretes the slimy mucus and it makes a track, and over the track the snail moves forward. So students, today in this video we'll be discussing up to here only. In the next video we'll be discussing the rest of the portions. Hopefully you have understood this portion. So thank you.